Hey guys, what's going on? Another dark video, but hey, I'm a little higher today because, well, I have a different vehicle I'm in today. My sister-in-law let me borrow this car to drive to work. Kind of an odd day, like on the weekends when I go to work, I don't have a car, so I usually have to have somebody pick me up. I haven't really found anybody at work to come pick me up. I don't really think there is anybody that really is near me, or I don't know. It's just hard to approach people on the shift that I work, it seems like, and I don't really go out of my way to try and make friends. So every once in a while I get the they just don't want to come pick me up and don't want to deal with it, so they let me borrow one of their vehicles. So today was one of those days. I borrowed the vehicle. They let me borrow it. It ended up snowing last night. It was kind of known that it was going to snow, so I think that's why they're like, you take the vehicle. And I'm a little bit higher, so the video quality is a little bit better because the bright sun over here is not blaring in my face. So I figured I'd do and first of all, if you're checking out this video and you like the title of the video and you're like, that's a cool question, I do these videos all the time. I talk about music, movies, and other topics that would, be about them. So I try to pick topics, sometimes topical things to talk about that kind of it is for those. Like, what's going on with horror movies. I think I did that video like a long time ago when the video quality was probably horrible. And I really want to revisit that. I'm talking about horror movies and what's happened over the few years. And I'm pretty sure I did do a video about that. Like, I don't know what I called it. Probably was something like completely different. And the heat is not working. I'm waiting for the heat. That's what I'm waiting for. But yeah, today I have a question though. And I know it's 2 minutes and I just now got to the question. Some people probably don't want to listen to it now. They're probably already gone. But anyways, I'm going to tell you it anyway. Question is, so, when you get older, your music tastes tend to change. And I think for me, it kind of has. And it's not the fact that I don't like heavy music. Like, that's not it at all. But it seems like I'm very picky. And when the new thing comes around, it's kind of like hard to embrace it. And for me, I have to really listen to a band that if somebody says, hey, this is really cool, and I've heard great things about them, in the music world, there's big things being talked about them. I kind of give them respect, and I give them a little listen, and I give them a chance to work on me, and for the most part, music industry is pretty almost always right. You just gotta listen to the artist. But there is times that I guess I wouldn't say right. I guess I would say they're not bad songs. But when you get to the point that when you get older, maybe you don't like rap or you don't like heavy metal because you just can't handle the loudness of it, and when you put your earphones in, it just you can't handle that sound anymore. Now, to me, I've always been a guy who's kind of listen to all kinds of music, and I only started doing that until a little bit after high school is when I really started finding death metal bands. I remember getting a CD, and I know I've talked about this before, and I don't know what video it was, but I remember getting this CD called Death. It's something like Songs to Die By or something like Death. And it was like number 10 or 11 or something like that. And I remember listening to the CD, and I remember liking about 7 songs on a 20-track CD. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. And I remember it being Nuclear Blast Records, and they're still around. I'm pretty sure they're still around. But they're more heavy bands, and they kind of, to me, Nuclear Blast Records is kind of that label out there. People may not know of them, but once they find them, it's kind of like opens up the floodgates, because there is so many things on there. Like, there's bands called Moonspell, and I'm probably going to butcher names, so I apologize. But there's like Moonspell and Tiamat, don't know. The Gathering, and there's bands like that, which they're not heavy at all, but they consider them metal, and they're not even progressive metal. They're kind of like pop metal, but they're not mainstream, so they don't really get a lot of exposure, but they're really, really good. Like Moonspell and Tiamat is really good. Moonspell I'm not a huge fan of. Tiamat I am. Tiamat's pretty good. The Gathering's okay. They're okay. I've heard a couple songs that aren't too bad. So if you have never checked them out, definitely check them out, because they're not really, they kind of belong to the metal community, and I don't really pay attention to what they're saying, really, the lyrics, but what they sound like is really good. So the lyrics may be something that maybe I'm missing that. But there's other bands out there that have been around for years that don't get attention. And some of the stuff, it's the lyric content, I understand. But sometimes I'm able to get past that. There was only just recently a band that really disturbed me. And that was Deicide. Deicide. Boy, are they evil. They are satanic in every way possible. And listening to and I reviewed the CD on the channel. You can go back and listen to my review, because I felt so uncomfortable doing the review and reading the names of the songs. And I mean, I'm not a super religious person, but I do believe, I am a Christian deep at heart. But I don't really practice very much. Like, every once in a while I might go to church, but there is some bands out there that you listen to and you read the names of their songs and you're like, okay, wow, that's a bit much. Like, are you really like anti, religious or whatever? And, satanic or into Satanism and shit like that? I mean, it's like, good Lord. So with that being said, I don't really have anything else. I always say that. At the end of the video, and then I do have something else to say. So I think I'm going to end the video here. 7 minutes. I want to know your comments down below, though, that if you're an older person, even if you're in your mid-20s, has your music taste changed? Have you, let's say you listen to rap in high school and you kind of got out of it, and now you listen to more country. I can see that happening, especially in Indiana. Because a lot of people listen to rap in Indiana when they're teenagers, and I can see when they get older they might just change the country, because a lot of girls like country in Indiana. Then again, a lot of girls like rap. But I never really hear of a lot of people liking like rock and roll and heavy metal in Indiana. Like they do. I'm sure there's people that like it, but kind of go on the wayside. There is rock fans out there though. But I just think that sometimes our body can't handle some music anymore, and whatever. I'm not one of those people, because I listen to a lot of different stuff, but even I have toned down my heavy metal listening, which I'm kind of starting to get back into it. But even then I start to listen, and I really, really love it, but then something draws me away, and I've been I guess I would call like doom metal is kind of my thing that I like at this old age of mine. Because I enjoy Clutch, I enjoy bands like High on Fire, and I enjoy, Corrosion of Conformity, and things like that. I enjoy bands like that, Black Label Society, and I think a lot of people would categorize that as doom metal. I've heard that. It's kind of a gloomy, like heavy metal kind of sound, and I really do like bands like that. I think there's a band called Cathedral. They kind of sound like Metallica. They're really good too, and Testament, I love them too. There's a lot of like bands that are kind of like Metallica that I think I'm really into. Even Metallica to this day, I still like them. I don't care what anybody says. The music hasn't changed. They may look different, but really the music has not changed. They've gotten, they're still the same Metallica over the years, So whatever people have against them, they just need to get the fuck over it. I mean, seriously, get the fuck over it. Just listen to the music and get over it. Whatever you have against them. I don't know what you have against them. And the album that they piss all over, Load, I enjoyed that album. I think people who don't enjoy Load need to go back and listen to it, because I think you made a mistake. Because I think Load is one of the most the most underrated Metallica albums of all time. Seriously. The underrated Metallica album of all time. So, even looking back, and I've always thought that. I've always thought it was a great album. And people kind of like to shit all over it, because that's when they were like, they were involved in Napster. So they kind of got roped into there. And then now, like, people still hate them, but they don't remember why. But now Metallica's on flipping Spotify, so you get a little bit of commission from Spotify, but I don't think you get that much. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. It went about 10 minutes. Hope you guys enjoyed the talk. Leave your comments down below. I would love to know what you think. If you're an older person, have your music style that you listening to changed? Did that make any sense? I don't think it did. Anyways, you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, living brighter. I need to buy a truck or something. Jesus. I'm in that car, lower down, and the light is like, ah! Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Rock and roll, keep a rockin', rock the boat, chickens a floating. What the hell am I talking about? I'm just gonna end the video. All right, keep rocking, guys. Later. Keep musing. Keep listening to music. See, it's too early for this shit. Keep rocking, guys.